You have been a millionaire for 11 years. Nobody knows. Not the guy at the gas station who watches you pull up in the same $8,000 car you bought used in 2013. Not your neighbor who mentioned last spring that you might want to think about getting something newer. Not the woman at the oil change place who asked if you wanted to trade it in while you were there and seemed genuinely surprised when you said no. The car is a 2013 Honda Civic. Dark gray. 187,000 miles. A small dent on the rear passenger door from a parking lot incident 4 years ago that you never got fixed because the door still opens and closes, and that is the only requirement you have for a door. You bought it for $8,200 cash from a private seller on a Saturday morning in October. You remember the morning specifically because it was the same weekend your brokerage account crossed $400,000 for the first time. You drove home in the Civic and checked the account on your phone in the driveway and sat there for a moment thinking about neither the car nor the number particularly. Then you went inside and made lunch. That was 11 years ago. The account does not look like $400,000 anymore. You grew up in a house where cars were status. Your uncle washed his every Sunday regardless of weather. Your cousin leased something new every 3 years and talked about it the way some people talk about accomplishments. The car you drove in high school was a 1998 Pontiac with a cassette adapter and a check engine light that had been on so long it felt decorative. You were embarrassed by it in the specific way you can only be embarrassed by something when you are 17 and believe that the outside of things accurately represents the inside of people. You stopped believing that somewhere around 24. Not from a book. Not from a podcast. From math. You were making $52,000 a year at a logistics company in Cincinnati. A coworker named Brandon leased a new Accord. $489 a month. He showed you the payment sheet like it was a report card. You did the math on the way home. $489 times 36 months is $17,604. At the end of those 36 months he would own nothing and begin again. You had a paid-off 2009 Corolla at the time and $11,000 in a Roth IRA that nobody at work knew existed. You remember thinking the math wasn't complicated. Just unpopular. You kept the Corolla until 2013. Then you bought the Civic. The Civic has needed 4 things in 11 years. 2 sets of tires. A battery. A water pump at $340 that felt expensive until you remembered what a car payment felt like, and then it felt like nothing. The total maintenance cost over 11 years is somewhere around $4,800. You know this because you keep a note in your phone. Not obsessively. Just because numbers are how you understand things. The car payment you never made for 11 years, at an average of $600 a month for something newer, something that would have made the neighbor stop commenting, would have totaled $79,200. That is before interest. That is before insurance differential. That is just the payment. $79,200 that instead went somewhere else. It did not go somewhere dramatic. It went into an S&P 500 index fund on the 15th of every month, automatically, without you making a decision about it, because the decision was made once in 2013 and then the system ran it forward without requiring anything further from you. You do not think about this constantly. That is not how it works. You just live your life in the Civic and the account does what accounts do when you leave them alone long enough. The neighbor's name is Phil. He is 52, drives a new F-150 every 3 years, and has mentioned the Civic 4 times in the last 2 years in the specific way people mention things when they believe they are being helpful. Last fall he said there were good deals on used trucks right now. You said you'd keep that in mind. He nodded in the satisfied way of someone who has delivered useful information. Phil is not a bad person. Phil just cannot see what you are doing because what you are doing is invisible by design. This is the part that took you the longest to understand. Not the math was always clear. The harder part was learning to be comfortable inside a life that looks, from the outside, like you are not trying very hard. Like you missed something. Like the car is a symptom of something that hasn't worked out. You are 38 years old. The brokerage account has a comma in a place that still occasionally surprises you when you open the app without expecting to. Not because you forgot. Because the number and the Civic and the oil change and Phil's comments all exist inside the same week, and the distance between them is so large that the brain sometimes refuses to hold both things at once. Last year a work colleague named Renee mentioned she was stressed about money. Car payment, credit card, the usual architecture of a life built to look a certain way. You listened. You did not say anything about the account. You would not have known how to begin that sentence, and beginning it would have changed something between you that you did not want changed. Instead, you asked her what the interest rate was on the card. She didn't know exactly. You suggested she find out. That was all. Sometimes that is all you can do for someone without dismantling the version of yourself they've built in their head. The invisibility is not modesty. You want to be clear about that, at least to yourself. It is not a philosophical stance. It is not about being humble or grounded or any of the words people use when they describe wealthy people who don't perform it. It is a choice about what you want your life to feel like from the inside. Because here is what you have learned in 11 years of driving the same car and living in the same house and wearing the same jacket from a sporting goods store until the zipper needed replacing. The performance of wealth costs more than money. It costs attention. It costs the mental overhead of maintaining a story about yourself that has to be fed constantly with new things to stay believable. It costs the specific anxiety of knowing the number has to keep up with the life you've built around it. You have none of that overhead. The Civic starts every morning. It handles highway miles without complaint. It parks in any lot in any neighborhood and draws exactly no attention from anyone. It costs you $47 every 3 months in oil. It is, by every practical measure, a perfect object. But that is not actually why you kept it. You kept it because of what it represents in the ledger of a life. Every month the car is not a payment, is a month that money does something else. And 11 years of months of money doing something else is the reason the account looks the way it looks. The Civic is not a sacrifice. It is the mechanism. It is the thing that made the other thing possible. You are driving it right now. The heat works. The radio picks up the station you like. There is a small crack in the plastic trim on the passenger side door that you have been meaning to look at for 2 years and have not looked at because it does not affect anything. You pass a dealership on the left. New trucks in a row, lit up. A sign says something about 0% financing for qualified buyers. You do not stop. Not because you couldn't. Not because the truck wouldn't be comfortable. Not because you have anything to prove to yourself about sacrifice or discipline or the character-building properties of driving a 2013 Civic with 187,000 miles. You don't stop because you already know what the truck costs. Not the sticker price. The real cost. The cost in compounding. The cost in the 11-year ledger. The cost in what that money becomes if it goes somewhere else instead. And somewhere else is where it is going. The gas station is on the right. You pull in. The attendant glances at the car the way people sometimes glance at old cars, not unkindly, just noting it. He probably drives something newer. He probably assumes things about the person in the Civic. You pay $51 for a full tank, which will last you 3 weeks. You pull back onto the road. 187,000 miles. Dark gray. Small dent on the rear passenger door. 11 years. Nobody at that gas station knows what is in the account. Nobody needs to. The account does not require an audience. It just keeps doing what it has been doing since 2013, quietly, on the 15th of every month, whether anyone is watching or not. You merge back onto the highway. The car does not hesitate. It never does.